Welcome to Sh Matters Podcast, where we have unfiltered conversations about the sh that really matters.
Welcome to Shit Matters Podcast. I'm your co-host, Michael Burst, alongside Josh, Kenny, and Brandon. And today we have a very special guest, his better half, Miss Tracy. Cheers. Tracy, if you don't know, we do a cheers beginning every episode.
Even though I got water. Been lame as hell.
It's not bad luck.
It's a myth. It's a myth. So welcome, Tracy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, guys. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you fine gentlemen.
Hey, man. I told Brandon to bring Rory on the show. Damn it.
You make us all look. You know?
Yeah. I mean, she's just too cute. No one wants to talk.
Too cute. You know, we need that. All these ugly mugs on the screen. You know, besides you, Tracy. You know, we need a little cuteness coming down in the room a little bit. But welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, Tracy is a amazing woman. She's a boss babe, as the kids say nowadays, I guess, if you will. But a little background about her. She left a six-figure job to go to a startup that was basically dying, to say the least, and she helped revitalize it. Brought in 20 plus million to the business, bunch of major brand deals to the business as well. She basically is the lifesaver of this wine company. We'll call her a superwoman, if you will. But she is her boss. She's the CEO's right-hand woman. Rob is his name, I think it is.
Yes.
Right? She came in, she left what was a comfortable thing, which we will discuss, to go to an unknown and turn into something very beautiful. And so that was a risk you took, and we're going to discuss that as well, why you took that risk and that journey's along that time frame as well. So let's dive into it. Josh, Kenny, everybody too. Let's thank Kenny for not dying in the storm. Let's not skip that. You know, not getting ate by alligator. I'm glad you're still here, brother. But let's roll. So, Miss Tracy, real quick.
Yes.
Tell the people where you're from, who you are, and why the hell did you marry Brandon?
I mean, that was easy. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, it was a good sales pitch too. He really sold me. I am Tracy, and I was born and raised in New Jersey. Don't judge me. The coffee and the waters come out after a few drinks, but other than that, I lock it in pretty good. Born to a great family. I grew up in the epitome of knowing what true love looks like, and I'm very fortunate for that. I'm an only child. They stopped at perfection, I like to say. They're like, there's no way we were having another one of you. Went to school at UDEL, studied criminal justice, was going to go to law school. Life threw some curveballs with my mom in a health aspect, and I wound up going to a headhunter right after college, and they were like, wow, you're really shy and not bubbly at all. You'd probably be terrible at sales. So obviously sarcasm didn't leave me from New Jersey, guys. So they said, hey, we have a wine job, a reputable wine company that's looking for someone. Would you be interested in jumping on board? And I was like, let me see what it's about. Went. And then that started my career kind of in the wine industry, worked my way up, and was moved to Charlotte in a role that I was stolen from my first company and brought over to another company that was like, hey, you want to pick up and move away from everything you know and love and move to a place you've never been? Much like Kenny, I moved to Charlotte and didn't have a single soul that I knew. I'm talking like not even a buffer friend. I worked remote. So I was just there like a predator at bars being like, hey, you want to be my friend at 30 years old, which was awesome and interesting. And then, yeah, just kind of, climbed up naturally, organically, and just didn't feel right. And an opportunity presented itself and I jumped. So maybe I dove a little too deep into the trajectory of my career, but yeah, from New Jersey, moved to Charlotte, met this handsome man. He stole me away, brought me to Nashville, and now I'm here with our beautiful daughter, Aurora Rose, and living the dream.
Beautiful daughter, by the way.
Oh
guys.
yeah.
It's insane.
I don't think we could do better. I don't even know how we top that.
Yeah, it's
She
gonna be
put
tough.
her on all the Huggy boxes and all the little baby supplies and sell products. She make money. Goodness gracious. So guys, any Josh, Kenny, anything you want to jump in on that?
I was just listening to the last part when you said it didn't feel right. The
Yeah.
last company. What made you want to go to a startup?
So what's interesting about me is my success has always been the byproduct of my motivating factor, which has been happiness. So I always gravitate towards what lights me up, what makes me feel love and full. And that's always been my true north. So when I was in this company, I mean, really thriving. Honestly, I was, you feel like a boss when you're up there with the best of them. And there was just something that was keeping me up at night. I was just unfulfilled. I felt like a number. I felt like what I was doing wasn't making a difference. It didn't matter. I was unnecessarily stressed out. And I was like, let's reel it in. Let's move back and see, like, what is your goal in life? What are you looking to do? Are you trying to be the best strategic accounts manager? Are you trying to be the CEO of a wine company? What's your end goal, Tracy? And that has always been to feel full, to feel fulfilled. And I wasn't. And I have always known when I know. And it's when it's time to do something, it's like I'm the most indecisive person until I'm decisive. And there was this distinct moment where it was like, you need to jump. Steve Harvey did a great, if you guys have ever seen that after Family Feud, I think it is, right? When he talks about just jumping and just trusting yourself and living in that moment of your truth, the universe will always have your back. And I've always trusted that. I don't know where that confidence came from. I think it may have been from instilled early on because I knew unconditional love and lived in that amazing feeling, knowing that net was always there for me. No matter what I did, I was going to be okay, right? So it was a moment where I was like, you are not happy. Like, what are you doing? And I held myself so accountable and trusted that I would land where I was supposed to be, that I had a one-on-one talk with my boss and said, look, I respect you so much. And I just want to be upfront. So don't make this hard for me. Don't ruin me by me coming to you and saying, I don't think this is working out. I don't have a plan right now, but I need time. And I want to give you the time to be able to find somebody to backfill me. I'm giving that respect to you. So I hope that you wouldn't be like, okay, you're out now. And the universe just aligned. When you live in that place where it's coming from your truth and it's real, it's palpable, it's something that is energetically going to provide for you because you're honoring truth. A opportunity presented itself in that moment where I met Rob and had a conversation, and our conversation had nothing to do with work. It had to do with like the Federal Reserve and like the occult and Illuminati, all the crazy stuff that lights me up that I want to talk about, right? And I was like, this is awesome. And it was the way that he spoke, the way that he believed in what he was doing so much that it was real. Like I couldn't help but feel compelled to act because it ignited something in me. It spoke to my truth. So it was an easy decision for me to go that way and to trust that was the next step for me, and that what was no longer serving me had to be behind me. It was validation for me in that moment.
That's dope. In the beginning, were you scared? Like, because that's obviously, you're leaving a six-figure job, obviously going to a startup, not knowing what's on the other side.
Yeah.
Like, was it a sense of, or were you just at that point of, you know what? It is what it is.
Well, you know what? I mean, scared in the sense of the unknown, right? That's always scary. But again, just kind of, I always trust what's meant for me will never pass me. I genuinely live in that mantra. It will never pass me. And I don't think I've never failed. I've learned, right? I look at everything that I've done as stepping stones to get to the next place I'm meant to be. Like old relationships weren't failures. They were to get me to the pinnacle of where
You're gonna make them start blushing.
if you look at that as a failure, that I didn't fail. I was building myself up to get to the upper tier. Yeah. So I mean, scary in the sense of just not knowing, but not scared because again, it felt right in that moment. And I always trust that if it wasn't right, if it didn't work out, okay, then I'm going to be led to the next thing that I'm meant to be doing. So it's just about having trust. And I think that that's really difficult in today's society, to trust yourself enough to know that you're going to be okay. Right. And I think that that is something that is instilled in us from an early age, to know that, you know, you're okay as you are. You're perfect. Like the magic is already in you. And it's just about you pulling it out. And I mean, I always think about it this way. It's like when you are like reading books and you're listening to podcasts and you're connecting to mentors, it wouldn't resonate with you unless it was in you. You know, you're already great. So it's just about someone connecting to your greatness and having you understand that truth that makes you live in that. You're not learning anything that you don't already know. It's just connecting to it and making you feel it. And I felt that with Rob. I felt great. I feel in an environment where life comes first. What's important to me is first, always. That, like, what right now, what is my primary concern? My daughter, and making sure that she grows up in love and she feels safe and that she knows what I knew growing up, so that she can be she can live in the same security to make the same decisions that I made based on knowing that she'll always be okay. So maybe that was a long-winded answer to your question, but
That's perfect.
Yeah, and that's one thing I just want to go back on, just as making a statement. I feel like, to simplify what Tracy said, like taking that next step, like I've talked about before with that book, The Right Risk, but by Bill Treasure. But everyone takes that first jump after college, like getting the house, getting the white picket fence, the dog, the 2 kids, and then stops because they're comfortable, right? It's also a societal standard where that's what you're supposed to do, right? And then if you take that next step and you quote unquote fail, even though it's a learning experience if you're in the right mindset, from the people that aren't doing that, they might look at you and judge you because they're either one, jealous, or they haven't tried themselves to take that next step. So I think that's where the fear kicks in of people not taking that next risk, whether it's, you know, moving away to a different company or going to the startup. And I think that's where the real, like, the growth happens. And back to, you know, what she was saying, it's like a lot of people are missing the boat on that and just stopping after that first jump.
No, for sure.
I mean, you took a risk yourself. If we're in the house tonight of the Photops, it's the house of risk takers.
We're very we love risk.
we love jumping.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's like, and obviously we've talked about this with each other. We've talked sometimes on the podcast about it. It's like, what the hell are you doing if you're not like trying to jump to the next thing, or, you know, go to a part of the job that lights you up, or get the other job that lights you up, or open that business you want to do, or start that clothing company, like whatever it is that, you know, you dream about or you think about, and then you go back to your 8 hours at your desk. Like, it's insanity, you know, you're just going to go in that same circle, obviously, unless you love your job. So to us, it's like, why not? Like, I'm just going to go back to where I'm now if it doesn't work out, you know? And I think that's what people are afraid of. It's like, they have to realize, like, hey, it can't get any worse, essentially. Like, or you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to go back to where you already are and go behind that. So you might as well just take that jump.
Yeah, it's like, what's your motivating factor? You know, and no motivating factor is right or wrong. Is it money? Is it notoriety? Is it fame? Like, what lights you up enough to move towards that? And you have to always honor that and be true to it and live in your authentic self, I think is the most important thing that people can do, that we've been conditioned not to do, right? There is a way. There is what success looks like. There is the white picket fence. There is, by this age, be married. And if you never settle, then, I mean, that's the key. So.
There we go. Eminem.
Let me jump in here. First off, Tracy, appreciate you hopping on.
Oh, look. Yo,
what's up?
Does he not like to y'all like right now? Kenny right now, his hat on with the mustache, with the beard. Is that not Eminem?
Nah, that's
Eminem.
That's
Yeah,
Eminem. Right
I've got Mac Miller before a few times.
yeah, man. I see Eminem right now, bro. I don't see Mac.
All right. Forget all that nonsense. Forget all that nonsense. All right, Tracy, Amy, and I miss you. We all need to get together, girl. Appreciate you hopping on. So the four of us are in some sort of sales. You're also in sales. You're good at what you do. Talk about your success around sales. I mean, why are you good at it? A lot of people that listen to us are in some sort of sales. What's some advice that you got to give people to be good at sales?
I mean, I think going back to the authenticity point. So one of my favorite memories is when I started with Executive Beverage now, and Rob called it my 12-step program, right? He's like, I have been conditioned away. And that's the thing I think that made me feel not happy was it was data driven. And it was, this is how you present to a buyer. This is the way that you're supposed to do it. And it didn't feel natural. So when it's not natural for you, it's not going to come off natural to anyone else. They're not going to connect to you because you're pointing to a bar graph and you're like, what's that? Yeah, that's what I'm selling, but I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I think that Rob really helped me strip back and unlearn what I was jumbled with. And he, like I said, my 12-step program was just being a person and connecting to people, caring about the person. When I started with the company in 2019, we were in 4 states and DC. And Rob, I mean, he is a visionary and he believes in what he does so much. Like I said, the passion is there. I mean, he started a distributorship with a Jeep Grand Cherokee, a American Express, and a storage unit. And like really, yeah. So what he said was like, why does it have to be done the way it's always been done? Why can't you be who you are and have that add value? So when we started, like I said, 4 states, DC, in 18 months, we were in 42 states and we went across the country opening distributors, and we didn't have a presentation deck. We didn't have anything that was what you would typically expect for someone in our industry, especially a small startup, to come to the big distributors with. And we just talked to people. We wanted to know what their business was. We wanted to see how we could add value. We spoke of partnership. We spoke of our vision. And the way we spoke about it, it was felt. One of my favorite meetings was at a distributorship where he's walking down to introduce us to the team. He was like, I mean, I feel like I'm on Shark Tank right now. This is Rob and Tracy. They have an amazing portfolio. I don't really remember most of it, but all I know is I bought into them. And that was like a defining moment for me, because that was so cool, because I had let go of everything I thought I needed to be, that person that was up until 3:00 in the morning, not feeling fulfilled. And I let that all go. And I just was myself, and connection is my thing, and talking from my heart. And that's what I was doing. So that's how I was successful in sales. Will that work for everyone? I can't say that it would. I think that it's about finding what you feel good doing and owning that enough to proceed with it, trusting it, not having it be because it's always been done this way. It has to be done that way. Whenever we bring someone new on board in our company, it's like an unlearning process. It actually is crazy how much people are stuck in the way of how it should be, and they try to implement it almost like it's a broken system because it's not done that way. So I think that for me, it was just being authentically me, caring about people. I am horrible at math. I am horrible at data. And I'm I'm VP of sales for an incredible company because of my strengths, but being allowed to live in them. So it's about environment too.
I love that. And actually a follow-up to that, because I talk a lot with my clients around culture, around helping them build their businesses and brands and everything, right? So I think you kind of alluded to it a little bit around the culture aspect. So what do you guys do differently, would you say, than some of your competitors or maybe other companies that you've been a part of, just within the culture that you guys are building?
Absolutely everything we do differently. I think that if it's something that anyone does, Rob is like, we're not doing it like that. And the thing that, Rob is, he's brilliant, and I'm so grateful. I don't think I could be me and I could be this evolved in my career if I didn't have him as the catalyst for change. So, I can't speak enough about it, but that makes you want to work harder for that person when they provide that environment. But what Rob does is Rob finds people's strengths. He doesn't think, okay, there's 8 hours you're supposed to be working. If your job's done, what else can you help? No. He's a firm advocate of, like, if you're done with your work, you're done. If you work 2 hours in one day and you really added value, you're done for the day. It's something that's just so profoundly different in every aspect, from, again, letting people live in their strengths instead of trying to fill a role. Low insight is bad insight. The way that he talks about people I've never heard him speak negatively of anyone. He finds your strengths and makes you live in it. So I think just, again, culture, environment, and the things that we do different. I could spend a whole 2 hours talking about the specifics of what that looks like, but it's going to be unique to the business that anyone in,
I love it.
Thing I'll add in, just from eyes on the outside, but like seeing it kind of develop from 4 years we've been together.
32 years.
Yeah, it feels like 8. But what I've seen is, like, Rob and Tracy, when they bring new people on, they kind of let them mold themselves into what they're going to provide for the company. Obviously, there's things that Rob needs done, just like any other company does, but like, he finds the people and then kind of lets them show what they're capable of, and then assigns like what they need to do once he understands who that person is. And then, okay, I've got 8 out of 10 things I can shift to this person, then I'll find someone else that can do the other 2 things or whatever like that. So It's not just like, here's a role, here's all your expectations, this is what you have to do and learn and figure out. It's like, let me get to know that person, and then this is what I'm going to assign them to do and kind of build their job around them. And then, okay, let's find the next person to fit the next part of the business.
Like that.
So different than, the corporate America wheel of just kind of, here's your expectations, here's your role, plug and play.
What did he say today? He said, sales is an art form and execution is a science. And there are people that are artists and there are people that are analytical scientists. And you can't expect somebody to cross the boundaries fully, because then they'll never fully live in their potential where they're meant to live.
But she dropping gym after gym after gym. So it's a few things you said recently that, in terms of how to sell, right? Everybody sells differently, but you said that the guy, he felt you.
Yes.
Right. He didn't care what you said. He felt you. And I know, Brandon, we heard this all the time. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Right. Like, folks buying into you. I think that's huge when we're talking about just life in general. But also, I think leadership is a piece you're hitting on pretty heavy right now as well. Rob is an amazing leader.
Correct.
And that creates an amazing environment, amazing culture, which creates amazing results as well. If he was a horrible leader, you probably wouldn't have 42 states and 20 million plus in revenue. Right. So I think that's a huge catalyst. And you also are a great leader yourself as well. So from the standpoint of leadership, you are a great leader as well. All right. So in terms of leadership, right, from in your mind, how do you lead? Right? Obviously, you have Rob as an example, but everybody leads differently. You are a VP of sales, right? Yes. How do you approach leadership and navigating, managing people and building them to be great leaders as well?
I think it's a similar mindset. I think that I've adopted a lot of, it was instilled in me, but I've been allowed to live in that space to listen. I think it's about understanding. 90% of the problems are the system. It's not necessarily the worker, it's the process, right? It's about the breakdown in how things are getting executed and what the system is not outputting. So if you have people that are unhappy, or if you have people that are not understanding what their role is, or feeling that they're in an environment where they can, I don't know, just be their authentic selves, I think that it will break down. I think if you have, that's when people are brought on board, it's from the feeling that we talked about with Rob, right? It's like we know that this person is executive beverage material, but we have to figure out where they're going to fit the best for themselves. So I think my leadership role is just kind of fanning the flame of what lights them up and understanding who they are and how to speak to them directly instead of implementing one process for everyone. I'm very emotional. If you guys haven't noticed from the way I talk, it's just, I like to connect to the person. So my leadership is, I can't say that there's one specific modality that I use. It's more about just the way that we open the country. It's the same that I do for my team. It's about understanding how to speak to that person for them to feel empowered to perform their best.
Amen. Is that how you lead, Brandon?
Yeah, I use the reverse psychology tactic with Brandon.
I am negatively motivated, so
you can't do that. You can't bring the garbage out, babe.
You can't clean that bowl. No, so I think we missed one thing as well. We didn't have you describe what you even do. Like, what exactly do you guys do? What's the company name?
Yes. So Executive Beverage is the company. And when I started, Rob had a small wine portfolio and this brilliant idea to bring a concept to market that he and his wife had been working on for a while because they like to entertain, called wine water. So, I mean, once he said the word wine water, I was like, yes, we need to do this. We need to run immediately right now. What are you doing? It sounded refreshing. I wanted to drink one. So that was kind of the catalyst that gave us the fuel to cross the country and open with an innovation that was truly seen as an innovation. This was 2019. So this was before COVID, before the seltzer boom, if you will. So that was kind of the thing that put us on the map, I'd say. But then we just, from our many vast interactions with distributors and with accounts, kind of fine-tuned our approach to now bring market exclusives, create custom brands, just provide a service that's missing in the market. And I oversee all of the key account calls. So pretty much just in charge of the country with sales for off-premise chain accounts, all of the accounts that you shop in for your groceries. I pretty much manage the buyer calls and facilitate that business. So yeah.
In 2019, how many people work for you guys?
Let's see, 13.
Okay, and what is it today?
40.
Wow. Yeah. So like in a leadership role, right? Obviously It's highs, it's a lot of lows. How do you keep everyone even keeled when those lows are coming, right? Because leadership can be draining. So when those tough times are coming, you have to show up even keeled. You have to show up motivated, making sure that everyone's on the same page. But how do you get those other ones to be on the same page as well?
Well, I think it's just about believing in what you're doing. I think if you are the voice that people connect to, again, it's that thing that people want to feel inspired, right? What makes a great leader? What makes somebody that you buy into? What podcast do you listen to? It's when you believe in it and you feel that they're talking from a convicted, ordained place of truth. And I think that if you aren't feeling that, then I'll know it's time for me to go. If I'm not feeling the passion of what I'm doing, I'm not a leader. I'm just faking it. And so I think that really establishing that kind of sense of trust based off of your own truth connects to people and brings them out of a funk if they're in a low, right? If there is something that we have to cross a bridge of tough times. But it's just about always living in the truth of like what the message is, what the end goal is. Like I said, Rob, when the lights were about to go out and I came in and I left, I jumped from a huge company to really to struggle with him, I'll say, because I believed. And we all want to believe in something, right? It's like that is the secret sauce, is feeling compelled to act, feeling convicted. And if you can bring that into every aspect of your business, if you can bring it into the low times, into the high times, and keep that same consistent like message, it will help people get out of whatever low times and fight to get us to the high times. Fortunately, we've just been in a season of growth, so
Yeah.
I'll come back on another pod when there is a very low point, and we can talk about
Hey,
that again.
we're not going to speak that.
We ain't speaking it up. We ain't speaking it up. Nah.
I'll double back. What was that? I'll double back on that real quick, just make a statement, and you can go ahead, Josh, with that next question. But I do think it's a very distinct line between, you know, the mindset of Rob as the entrepreneur and Tracy pretty much as an entrepreneur, if you will, because she, you know, had a hand in building the business as well. But the employees that have come along after the company has, you know, reached a decent amount of growth, it's like they're looking for a leader. They're looking for a common mission. They're looking for a bigger team goal to work towards. And if that's not there in a company, like, your turnover is going to be high. There's not going to be employee buy-in. Your business probably isn't going to be doing that well, to be quite honest. So I think back to Tracy's point, like, that conviction, that belief, that mission has to be portrayed from the founder, the VP of sales, you know, the person essentially in the day-to-day running the company. And that conviction has to spread to the rest of the company in order for the business to grow. They're going to want to follow that. They want to get behind a strong message. And if you can help them believe in it, and they can see a little belief from what you already have until they can fully buy into it and build their own conviction, then I think it's an endless opportunity for upward mobility.
Perfectly said. I mean, our business has a heartbeat, you know, it has a life force. People have been with Rob from the very beginning, and they trudged through the trenches with him because of the same belief that I bought into when I met him. And that's why you can tell just by the way I speak about him so highly. It's a rare thing to feel just someone's living in their truth so much. And you know that ship, if it's going down, he's going down with it. Like, he is on that ship. He is like Lieutenant Dan up there, like, what do you have for me?
That is awesome.
Talk to us about motherhood, parenthood, both of you guys. I mean, how has that shaped, you know, just your outlook on what you do career-wise, personally, wherever you want to take that question?
I mean, it's been an adventure. It's been a beautiful, wild, chaotic adventure. It is so cool to see this little human that you created embody characteristics of both of you while embracing her own little sassy self. And she is really coming into herself now. We're in trouble. I knew I had karma coming to me. It's my why. I mean, it's my purpose. I look at her, and I never thought that I needed to be married at this age or have this many kids. I mean, I didn't meet Brandon. We didn't till I was 37, and I had my first baby at 39. And I'm saying that because I hope someone listens to this and they know that you didn't miss the boat and you shouldn't be depressed. It's all happening how it should. Trust that. Say that every single day. Everything is happening right now, even the downs, the hardships, for you for a reason. And there will be those aha moments when you look back and you're like, shit, that's why that happened. Anyway, that was a sidebar, but it's so cool to have this little incredible human that is learning so much from us and just teaching us so much at the same time. And it's very hectic to navigate because I am full-time momming and full-time working. So, I mean, I am daycare and I am running a country with sales. So that is I need more arms. I don't know. But I mean, Brandon's great. I think that that's an important thing, is to have a team player through it all, right? Somebody that is a partner that you can communicate with. Brandon's more like the anchor and I'm the kite just flying around, and he's like, let's bring it in. And I'm like, no, I'm here. And that's why we work, right? That's the balance. It's the beauty that I'm so grateful she gets from both of us. So it's been cool. It's been really neat to watch Brandon in this role, to be completely honest, to see him unlock and just melt down. He has a baby voice.
I do.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Let's
I
hear
can
it.
see that. I can see that.
Please, let's hear that real fast, please.
That's awesome. I have
What
power.
does it sound like?
I can't. She's got to be here. I can't do it.
Go get her.
Go get her, please, Tracy. We gotta
Go
see
get
it.
her.
We gotta see this baby voice.
Don't worry, there's footage.
But I will say one of the cutest things was I taught her how to put the headphones to her ear, right? Because she was picking them up and she didn't know what they were. So I'll put music on and I'll put it to her ear. Anyway, I had one of your podcasts on and she put it to her ear and then she goes, Dada! And I was like, oh!
Oh, that's dope.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
awesome.
Thing. But I'll let Brandon chime in on the whole parent.
Yeah. I mean, it's been awesome to see kind of Tracy live in this new season of life, right? From knowing her, obviously single, dating together, engaged, married, different seasons of life. I mean, we sped through seasons of life, if you're looking from the outside in on us, with everything we did in two and a half years about. But it's been cool to see her kind of find another gear, find a different level, be able to balance everything is crazy. As far as what she's able to do and still do that. I mean, we're fortunate enough to, both be remote and get to spend as much time as possible with her, which, some parents don't have the ability to do. So we're very grateful for that. But I think it's allowed us to live through a different perspective. I think the first podcast I talked a little bit of, it lets you understand what really matters in life, and you kind of drop the crap that really is like minuscule and maybe like you did worry about it before a kid, but now it's like that it means nothing. It's not going to mean anything in 5 years. So like, why are you even worried about it at this point? And it allows you to trim the fat of like, whether it's, certain people or certain habits you're doing, or whatever it may be. And it lets you live in that space of knowing you're going to get it done no matter what, because now you have a little person to raise and take care of, obviously, but also you want the best for them, right? So it's going to make you live at another level in order to get that, to provide for them. For me personally, it's allowed me to live in my creative space a little bit more, which is an area that I used to dive into a lot a couple years ago, and then I kind of lost it when I kind of put my head down and decided to grind and open up a business and still, have a job and stuff like that. And it's allowed me to get back there. It's allowed me to kind of step away and separate myself from the business work life and allow myself to play and hang out and live in that space, which has been awesome. Because we all know I've got some serious RBF when I'm just I'm going through the motions, and I've got my head down, hoodie on. So
Angry.
It's been awesome. It's been a learning experience. I think the perspective has been the biggest thing for us and allowed us to realize what matters and what we need to do to move forward and grow from here and provide, what we want to provide for her and our future family.
Awesome. I like the RBF is very real.
Oh man, it's so real.
It's way better now.
What are you mad at? Who are you angry with?
Yeah. We've improved. I'm still a work in progress, right?
So who's Tracy and Brandon in 10 years?
He'll probably put me in a retirement home in 10 years. Context everyone, I'm 10 years older than Brandon. So, but I mean, I'll let you answer that. I feel like I've been dominating the conversation too.
Yeah.
You're the good.
I'm the more, I don't say rigid, but I think about things very logically and have an idea of what I want life to look like. And obviously it changes, in different seasons of life. But in 10 years, financial freedom we're going to already accomplish that and be able to kind of live life on our own terms and what we want to do. That aside, I hope we have a growing family with a couple kids, and we're including a lot of travel. I think travel is a big bug for us that we want to itch and make memories, because you can make as much money as you want, but if you're not actually, having experiences and remembering moments, like, you ain't taking all that money to the grave with you. So you might as well spend it and have a damn good time. I think that's what lights us up once we can take care of the financial aspect, the business aspect, and her business as well, and put ourselves in a position of we can choose what we want to do, and it really doesn't matter. I think that's where I think it's almost like we're starting a new chapter of life. I think that's where in 10 years we should be at that point. We will be at that point is, all right, let's close this chapter. Let's open it up. And now we can actually like start living and creating new memories, and then kind of move on from the whole grind, business, work life, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Be evolved, but we'll be happy. That's where we'll be in 10 years. That's where we'll be in 5 years. That's where we'll be in 2 years. We'll be further along than here in whatever that looks like, because like I said, success for me has no value. It's not anything tangible. It is him, it is her, it is me, and it is us. And that is my happiness. If I have my family unit and everything else crumbles, but I am loved fiercely and I am seen and I am supported and I can do the same, then I am fulfilled. So we will be there, because in every single season of understanding each other and growing together, we've just made more profound steps. And I know in 10 years, it'll be crazy where we'll be on that level of understanding each other and where we'll just be with our family. So excited to see that. We'll do a 10-year podcast again and we'll revisit that and tell you where we are.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be on top of the channel then.
You guys are gonna be like, sorry, Trey, we're too big now. We can't have you on.
Sorry. Sorry about it. No, so I think though, on a serious note, I think the way in which you guys answered that question was beautiful in terms of the confidence in which you spoke it. There was no hesitation. There was no us. There was no, I think, it's speaking with a declaration of what's going to be. I think it's awesome. Tracy, your energy, I tell you all the time, your energy is so infectious.
Thank you.
Your heart, your passion for life, and just the genius behind it. If people had the same heart you had around the concept of understanding what true value is in terms of the family unit, the love you have for those around you, and not on things, I think we'd be in a whole different place right now with this country, in this world in general. And I think that is a very peaceful place to be, because you can lose everything and you're still happy because you have what's most valuable to you. And that's very rare. It's very rare. So thank you for sharing.
Amen.
That.
Amen.
Sure.
Thank you for acknowledging
Amen.
But,
that. That shows that that's you, though, for you to be able to appreciate something like that, that shows that that's your heart. So
no,
right back.
100%. I mean, I personally, I have work on that as well. I need to work on minimizing what I deem as important as well, and lessen the noise and focus on what's real. And so now, like genuinely, like I want to get to the point to where I'm fully where you are, and I can't say that I'm there right now. I'm there at some point. I value my fiance, obviously my family, but I hold success on achievement as well, or on attaining certain different things where it really don't mean a damn thing in reality. And so just finding that fullness of being fully happy and fully complete with just this right here. And I don't know, Josh, Kenny, are you guys there yet?
Nah, not yet. No, not. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think I'm at the point where obviously I want to continue to work with myself, but I do have a goal in mind that I don't want to abort that mission. Like, I've wanted to own a dealership since 12 years old, and I get an inch closer every day. So until I can first see that, until I can actually live that truth, then I'm going to continue to chase it.
But that's your why. And I think that's your truth and that's your authenticity. So I think that is your reason. And I don't think that you should abandon that at all. There is no one size fits all for what success or happiness looks or feels like. And that's your version of it. So that's beautiful.
D, I want to go back to something you said. Hopefully our listeners can feel the energy out of Tracy. And I think that speaks a lot about her character, her success. I mean, just her passion, her why, her energy. It is infectious. And that's something that I try. And I mean, back to your question, something I try and live out each and every day for myself, because I work for a publicly traded corporation. So creating shareholder value isn't necessarily getting me up each and every morning, right? So I have to find deeper why, deeper purpose. And, hopefully when I spin that approach, like Cope was saying, that, I still have some things I definitely want to accomplish in my career, but there's a deeper purpose around community and everything else that I want to strive to solve for, right? At the end of the day.
Amen.
And then also, Tracy, so I can tell, obviously, just from talking to you in this span of time, that you're a leader, right? And you're a leader you're just a natural leader. But where did it come from? So did it come from home? Did it come from podcasts? Did it come from books? Where did you embody this type of leadership of just the natural approach, right? Just being yourself, just being a person at the end of the day. Because I try to lead by telling people just being yourself. Just be yourself. Don't try to put on a front. Don't read a memo. Just be yourself. So where did that come from?
I mean, Cope, I wish I had a defined answer for you. And it is honestly just from always being myself. I don't know how to define that. I think that, like I said, the foundation of love, to always know that I'd be okay, to try and fail, to that I would always land on. I always had the feeling that I would land on my feet. And that was from my family. That was from growing up in unconditional love. I think for me, that set that tone that I carried through, thinking that if this doesn't work, it wasn't meant for me. And when you're not scared to fail, that's when the doors open. That's when things happen for you, because you're not affixed to an outcome, right? You don't need to control that. You don't need it. I don't need anything. What's meant for me will never pass me. So I have always just led with that foot and walked through the doors that opened because I willed them to, because it was the next step for me. Anything. Like, they're smiling.
Yeah, that's a short right there.
Why are you interrupting her, D?
I had to smile. I just
kidding.
My heart, it made me feel good. It made me want to keep going. But I mean, for me, it's not me thinking as a leader. It's not me thinking that. It's just me being myself. It's me just honoring my truth and moving towards my passion. Always. If it didn't fit, there was another thing to try on. So that's just kind of, yeah, that's where it came from. I wish I had from books, from this. You know what? It actually came from understanding that the societal constraints of what something should look like, right? I consider myself a spiritual person. So what does that mean? Does that mean I drink at mom and pop coffee shops versus Starbucks? Does that mean it's like when you identify as something and you have to fit into the mold of it, you are no longer yourself. You're identifying and affixing to a label, to something that you have to then support and adapt to and adopt entirely. Otherwise, you'll get thrown, people will throw you to the wolves if you deviate from that at all. But when you don't care what noise is coming at you because you're just embodying your truth, that's when people respect you. That's when people naturally gravitate towards your energy, because it's real. It's not something that is pre-boxed and sold to the masses. It's something that's different. And that's what's missing in today's society. There are people that don't have the fear of what they're going to say if they're not going to fit into, let's say a vegan doesn't like to eat meat, but they want to wear leather. Like, they wouldn't wear leather because of what the population would say to them. And that's not living in your truth, right? Like, that's because you identified as something and now you have to live in the confines of it. So that's just an example of what I'm saying. And I think a true leader even if it's outlandish and it's right and it's left and it's up and it's down, you're always going to follow it if it feels right to you, because, you know, it's true. So.
Sure. Listen, that was amazing. We need to have you on this damn podcast every episode. Shit. But no, legit. Thank you for your time. Seriously, I know you are very busy woman. You are a mother. You are a wife. You are a leader in your industry. So thank you for your time. Seriously. Hopefully, people really took something from this. I took a lot from it. I was smiling the whole damn time. I'm just like, oh goddamn. Okay, all right, cool. Well, dang, okay. You know, but seriously. So, thank you, Tracy. Brandon, thank you for allowing her to come join us as well. Please bring Rory on next time. We want to hear the baby talk has to happen.
I'll send you guys some clips. Just saying.
The people want it. But any other questions? Are everybody good to go?
No, appreciate you coming on. Great seeing you, and yeah, just dropping gems on us. So appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Give your beautiful wife a hug for me.
Definitely will.
There we go. Josh, give your machine a beautiful hug for her as well.
What'd he say? What'd he say?
I love you, brother. I say I love you. I love you. But hey, as always, thank you all for your time. If you have any comments, any suggestions, please share them. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Peace.
That really matters.